All right, we're here today at the Army Recruiting Station with Staff Sergeant uh, Williams, and we are lucky enough for him to be able to speak to us today about how we would be able to join the Army Reserves, the National Guard, or active military Army. So, today we're going to pose a few questions to him, and the first is going to be, tell us your Army story, Staff Sergeant Williams, and what got you interested in joining and pursuing a career in the military.
What got me interested in wanting to be a part of the United States Army was a simple concept of just team and ultimately just growing and becoming a better individual. One of the great things about my Army story is that traditionally I was not a military brat per se, so I never had any plans to actually be in the military. I went to high school, went to college, played ball, did all the whole nine, and then I still find myself in the position of joining the military, because it is much more than you see on the news or hear in the streets or things like that. And once I learned about not even just the growth of it, but the benefits and the longevity, that's actually really what kind of got me interested in becoming a part of the team. Okay, so if someone is actually interested in joining and being a part of the Army or any military branch, the first step is to contact a local recruiter. You have several different avenues you can do that. You can visit our online sites, the local recruiting station, or if you're in school, you can visit your local recruiter in your actual school. They'll be able to point you in the right direction as far as how to get information, all the process needed to take that next step forward. So I get the question all the time, why should I join the United States Army when I talk to most different people? So it's real simple. The Army will provide you with travel, excitement, leadership skills, being a part of a team that's bigger than yourself, and ultimately, you're serving your country. So with those kind of core concepts, that's why you should be a part of the United States Army. In the United States Army, we do have three components. So we have active duty, then we have the U.S. Army Reserve, and we do have the National Guard. So the three different parts about them work together, but however they are different. So the active duty, we support and defend the Constitution abroad, meaning overseas, things like that. Like, yeah, we do train here domestically, but for the most part, our main duty assignments will be conducted overseas, as far as operations and stuff like that. So we active duty are federal employees. So that means we go anywhere. We can transfer, we can be in any location, we can do anything. So we're treated just as federal employees. The United States Army Reserve is the same thing as active duty, however, it's only part-time. When I say part-time, I mean versus being a full-time soldier, you're only going to be obligated to work 38 days a year being a part of our Army Reserve. The importance is just the same, but you're only doing your job part-time. The National Guard is on the same scale as the Army Reserve. However, the National Guard is state-ran. It is not federally funded or federally run by the President of the United States. It is ran by the governor of that state. So for instance, if something were to happen in Kentucky, the National Guard would be deployed to take care of that versus the Army Reserve. So those are the two biggest differences between the two. The Reserve, still federal, the National Guard is state-ran. So the basic requirements for joining the United States Army or any military branch is typically you have to be 17 years of age, no medical conditions that can't be handled, no major law violations, meet our height and weight standards, and be a high school graduate or equivalent. Basic training is the basic principle of becoming a soldier. Basic training makes up 10 weeks of your initial training, and it's a crawl, walk, run phase. So you take a civilian, which you will be classified until you successfully complete basic, and you just will go through basic soldiering from how to do marches, weapons training, custom and courtesies. So I get the question a lot, what's AIT? So AIT stands for Advanced Individual Training. And the difference between AIT and basic training is that it's job specific. So that means if you're a computer repairer, or you work on satellites, or you do finance, for the next 8 to 10 weeks of your training, you will focus solely on that particular function to become basic training qualified and AIT qualified to complete the total soldier concept. So we get the question a lot, how long do I have to serve? So the active duty component, we can get you in with a minimum of a 2-year contract. The Army Reserves is 38 days a year, a total of 6 years, but it's only a total of 28 days that you'll actually be giving to the United States Army. So part 2, with the United States Army ASVAB. Some have heard of it, some have not. However, it is the equivalent to a high school graduation exam, where it is high school based, basic math, basic reading, basic vocabulary. So in order to be a part of the United States Army, we do have a 31 minimum score that you must obtain. However, it is out of 99th percentile. So the chances are really for you. So the average income, we get this question a lot, how much do you make? So being a full-time soldier coming in brand new, no experience, you can expect to be compensated roughly around $40,000. Being part-time in the reserve, working 38 days a year, you're gonna look at still around a compensation of $7,000 for 38 days of work. So we do offer cash bonuses. For the active duty component, you get cash bonuses based on your ASVAB score, as I mentioned earlier, and also the specific type of job that you're doing. So the range is anywhere from $5,000 to $20,000, depending on the need of that specific job in the Army at that specific time. Medical conditions. So a lot of times they say, what are some of the most common ones? So some of the most disqualifying medical conditions are the basic. You can't be on any prescription that you have to take to possibly calm nerves, depression, anything like that. Chronic asthma. Any type of thing that has to be treated. And if it's not treated, it could be detrimental to you. Those are usually the medical qualifying things that you will not allow you to join. So the Montgomery GI Bill for active duty soldiers is a qualifying scholarship, as if you were going to you received a regular academic scholarship, paying up to $85,000, possibly more depending on your enlistment bonuses and all that stuff combined. The reserve offers the same GI Bill as well. It's called a GI Bill Select Reserve. So it's not $75,000, but however, with the totaling from all compensation received from the reserve, it pays for complete schooling of tuition as well. My advice to you would be, if you have any interest in possibly joining the Army or any military branch service, I would tell you to put one foot forward. So the opportunities are there, but you have to make that step. So granted, a lot of times it is fear controlled, to where I talk to a lot of kids daily and they say, hey, I just don't know. I don't know if it's for me. But I simply reply to them, well, why don't you try it and see? Because it will only enhance you. It's not something that will actually lessen you as a person. It will enhance you as far as resume, character, leadership skills, and all the essentials that you need to be successful in life you can't get from the United States Army.